What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Satanism. Before we get into it, let me just give a little disclaimer that no, I am not a Satanist. I just simply read the Satanic Bible to learn about what they stand for, what they believe in, and I'm really glad that I did read this Satanic Bible because I will let you guys on a little secret. Satanism is not what you guys think that it is. Now, one thing that I think right off the bat that I found really interesting about Satanism is that, like, in the movies and in all of the places where, they show Satanism, they show it as this sort of like cult vibes. You got the pentagrams everywhere, just kind of like here you got the goat heads, right? They're eating babies and sacrificing goats and doing all sorts of stuff like that. And that's kind of how I thought of like Satanism as well. I'm like, yeah, probably killing goats and drinking babies' blood and, doing all the things that we associate with sort of satanic things. However, I came to find out that that's actually not Satanism. People who are doing that, maybe in the name of Satanism, maybe they just don't understand the actual beliefs behind Satanism, or they are another sort of cult or group, sort of a religious organization that is pretending to be Satanist, but that is not real Satanism. And I found that very interesting. And now the reason is because in Satanism, it is actually not allowed for you to harm animals or children. They view animals and children as closer to God than we are later in life. Satanism is all about the 7 sins and kind of indulging in the human experience, if that makes sense. So in many religions you have the 7 sins, and they kind of make you feel guilty about indulging in the 7 sins. They make you feel guilty for having sex without marriage. They make you feel guilty for doing all of these things that are honestly pretty normal for the human experience, I would say, right? Now, this is the only group that doesn't judge anybody for partaking in the 7 sins. They do not judge you for that. And I think that that is kind of interesting, because if you are judging somebody, that most likely is not coming from a place of love. And for you to actually, sort of love somebody, I guess, you have to accept them for, who they are without trying to change them. That's what love is. If you're trying to change somebody, you don't really love them because you can't accept them for who they are, therefore you don't love them. So I think it's interesting that Satanism is one of the only religions that allows you to be yourself. As long as you have two people consenting in whatever activity is going on, Satanism is okay with that. And I'm kind of okay with that in my own personal beliefs as well. So basically what that means is, like, for example, if you're into some crazy kinky sex and you want the knives, you want to be tied down and get some knife play going on and some weird stuff, Satanism says, as long as there's somebody who's willing to participate in that with you and is totally down for it and consents to that, then you got your green light and you guys should go ahead and experience that together and, enjoy that experience for what it is. And I think that's a really cool idea behind Satanism. And so kind of back to the sacrificing kids and sacrificing goats and animals, they view animals and kids as being closer to God because they have not been programmed to not give in to these animalistic tendencies that live within inside all of us. So, for example, a kid, when they're growing up, they don't know really from right and wrong. You could say it's a very animalistic state of our development because, when we don't get something, we're crying, and when we don't like the food, we're throwing it off our plate on the floor. We're freaking rebels when we're kids, man. We don't give a fuck, man. We're just, if I want to throw the bottle at the wall, I'm going to throw the bottle at the wall. Like, I don't care. Like, we don't really know right from wrong yet. We're very animalistic in that sense. If I want to stand and jump on the coffee table as a kid, I'm going to just stand and jump on the coffee table until I'm conditioned enough by my parents yelling at me, society telling me that I'm not allowed to stand on the coffee table. You know what I mean? It's not like how you pictured in the movies where you got the goat head and they're like drinking the blood and you got the candles around the animal that they're dismembering and stuff. So they actually don't do that, which I thought was very interesting because they view them as being closer to God, which makes me wonder what group, because we know it's out there, we all know it's out there, is responsible for, sucking the baby's blood, killing these animals in the name of religion or whatever it is. However, we know that there's an elite cult that's within Hollywood and that's within these places that is trying to do all these things. And we always associate it with Satanism. We always associate it with the devil. That's the devil doing this. The devil's in this. Like, you guys have seen the Sam Smith Hollywood stuff, like that sort of stuff, that weird type of stuff. It's got me wondering now if that's a different thing disguising itself as Satanism, or maybe two interpretations maybe of the same thing. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but that's kind of why I wanted to make this video and talk about it, because I thought it was very interesting. I wanted to read a little excerpt from this because they talk about love and hate in Satanism, and a lot of people just assume that Satanism is all about like hate and treating people badly, which it's not actually. So this chapter I'm going to read to you guys is called Love and Hate, and it's pretty short, as you guys can see. It's just like 1/2 page, so it's not too long, but I just wanted to read it to you guys because it really like profoundly impacted me, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. It says here, Satanism represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrats. You cannot love everyone. It is ridiculous to think that you can. If you love everyone and everything, you lose your natural powers of selection and wind up being a pretty poor judge of character and quality. If anything is used too freely, it loses its true meaning. Therefore, Satanists believe you should love strongly and completely to those who deserve your love, but never turn the other cheek to your enemy. Love is one of the most intense emotions felt by man. Another is hate. Forcing yourself to feel indiscriminate love is very unnatural. If you try to love everyone, you will only lessen your feelings for those who deserve your love. Repressed hatred can lead to many physical and emotional ailments. By learning to release your hatred towards those who deserve it, you cleanse yourself of these negative emotions and need not take your pent-up hatred out on your loved ones. There has never been a great love movement in the history of the world that hasn't wound up killing countless numbers of people. We must assume to prove how much they love them. Every hypocrite who's ever walked the earth has had pockets bulging with love. Every religionist claims to love his enemies, even though when wronged, he consoles himself by thinking God will punish them, instead of admitting to themselves that they are capable of hating their foes and treating them in a manner they deserve. They say, "There, but for the grace of God go I, and pray for them." Satanism has been thought of being synonymous with cruelty and brutality. This is so only because people are afraid to face the truth, and the truth is that human beings are not all benign or all loving. Just because the Satanist admits he is capable of both love and hate, he is considered hateful. On the contrary, because he is able to give vent to his hatred through ritualized expression, he is far more capable of love, the deepest kind of love. By honestly recognizing and admitting to both hate and the love that he feels, there is no confusing one emotion for the other. Without being able to fully experience one of these emotions, you cannot fully experience the other. So yeah, that is a little excerpt from the love-hate part. Now, what I think is really interesting about that is I agree with that. I truly agree with that. And so there is parts of this Satanism, I guess, and the Satanism tenets that I do agree with. And that right there is one part that I agree with. And they make, I think at least, let me know what you guys think, but I think they make some very valid points that it is not natural to love everyone. And I don't know if everyone in the world should receive your love, and I think he could have a point about that as well, that maybe not everyone in the world is supposed to experience your love. Sometimes the most loving thing to do to somebody is not show them love, if that makes sense. Hey, that's a little food for thought for y'all. Sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for somebody is not show them love. Just think about that, because I think that there is a lot of truth to that. If you guys are familiar with like Christianity and some of these religions, a lot of them have like the 10 Commandments or like this list of like, just like a quick and easy list, so you don't have to read the whole book, obviously, type of thing, that you're supposed to live by, so you got like the 10 Commandments, I don't know what some of the other religions call them, but you get like sort of the idea that I'm trying to share with you guys. So the Satanic Temple also has their 7 fundamental tenets of life, basically, which is like their version of the 10 Commandments. And so I thought for the last part of this video, I could kind of share those with you guys because I think they're also very interesting. So the first fundamental tenet of Satanism is one should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. The second tenet is the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Basically, they're saying that real, justice is more important than laws and, government institutions. So the third one is one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Inviolable, if you guys don't know what that means, it means to never be broken, infringed, or dishonored, which basically means nobody is allowed to disrespect you or like disrespect your body or dishonor your body unless you do it to yourself or you are okay with it. If you are consenting for like, yeah, go ahead, cut off my arm or something, they're cool with that. Which, I mean, I'm cool with that too. Like, no judgment, man. The fourth one, the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own. The fifth one, beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care to never distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs. The sixth one, people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. So that basically just means, like, own up to your mistakes and try to fix them because we all make them. So do your best to try to resolve it in any way you can. The last one, this is number 7. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. So yeah, those are the 7 fundamental tenets of Satanism. I'm interested on what you guys think of them because when I first, stumbled across these, this is not what I at all would think that Satanism stood for. And it's very interesting to me that there seems to be such a divide between all of these different sort of religions because most of them are trying to tell you the same thing. I mean, there's little differences here and there, but they're all pretty much trying to say the same thing. And I really wonder why Satanism gets such a bad rep. Because from what I am seeing, the people that are doing terrible things in the world are not Satanists. Even if they are identifying as Satanists, they are not truly Satanists because Satanism isn't agreeing with this. Satanism is not going to agree with you, raping kids. It's not going to agree with you being rude to other people. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about Satanism. And I'm going to try to do some research and find out who the real Satanists are or who the people are that are eating these kids and doing these terrible things. I'm gonna find out who's really doing this, man. Who's really out here spreading the hate in the world because it's not necessarily always these people, man. Not necessarily always these people. So, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace and love.